Hey guys, this is Random Guy 1001, and today I'm gonna discuss the mysterious Benedict Society. I'll just talk about my honest opinions on the show as a whole now that it's done. This video will be more relaxed. There might be a little bit less editing just because I have a lot of things that I gotta do, so I want to get this out quick. So yeah, basically I'll talk about my thoughts on like the episodes as they went, and then what I thought of the whole series in general. So first to start with the first two episodes, uh, both of these were like they mainly served the purpose of setup. So they were kind of boring to me. Especially the first one, which mainly just introduced the characters, which weren't that interesting to me. Like most of the characters, I don't know, it just feels like there's something missing to them. Like they're not very charming or charismatic or anything, which I guess the character doesn't always need that, but I don't know, maybe they're just too quiet to like have a real personality that can shine, or maybe there's like some flaws in the writing. Uh, I think for Rainey, I liked his character eventually when we got to see him more of a leader character. Um, for me, Sticky was he didn't have much to him. There wasn't too much wrong with him. Uh, I think he shined a lot more later in the show. Uh, I think I had more problems with the two girls. Constance, like most of what was to her was she had some funny lines, and then she was the sort of pessimistic person of the group, kind of. Um, and Kate was, she's the one that likes to take action and stuff. There's not much wrong with her personality, but I don't really like how they used her in this show, and I'll get into that more. So, yeah, the first two episodes were mainly used to set up, they weren't that interesting. So now let's get into the third episode, which I liked a lot more, because it moved the story along more. And that's really what I like the most about the show, the intrigue and the mystery to the story, especially in the middle part of it. But the best part of this episode was introducing Mr. Curtin, and I think Mr. Curtin really shined in this episode. It felt kind of like his episode. A lot of the stuff in the episode revolved around him, which is what made it really interesting to me. So yeah, that's what I really liked about that episode, and also that it moved the plot along a lot more than the first two episodes, which were just set up. So then we had episode 4 and 5, and I'd say these episodes, they just like progressed the story even more as they went. Episode 4 progressed the story a bit with finding out how to get into the tower, and Mr. Benedict saying that they have to send in the kids into like this boulder and stuff, which was a part that I liked in episode 5 with them trying to figure out how to do that, especially Constance and Kate trying to figure out how to do that. And there was also this little storyline with Rhonda and number 2, with Rhonda. She went out. She was like painting this big sign, and she painted "Remember to feel," and then number 2 followed her and saw her do that, and she's like, "You could have gotten caught." And Rhonda's response is, "Maybe this is a bit pointless, but like it won't overall have a big effect on others, but it'll have an effect on me because it keeps me sane and it keeps me going, which is important." So I think that was I like that part of the episode. It wasn't really visited that much later on in other episodes that I saw, but it kind of developed a sort of friendship between Ron and number two, which was paid off in the finale. And I like that part of the finale. Um, so yeah, so then episode 5, we had Kate and Constance going into um, the tower and learning a bit more about Mr. Curtin's plan and all that. And we also saw Rainy and Sticky becoming messengers and going into messenger duty and going into the Whisperer. And what the Whisperer does is soothes people and makes them send subliminal messages, which is what the emergency is, which was the big problem of this show, the big conflict. Yeah, I really liked in this episode how they balanced all 4 of the kids with, they all had an important role to play. And yeah, this episode is where the plot, and it improved the plot and moved it forward even more, which was intriguing. So then we had episode 6, which I really like this episode because while it did move on the plot, it also had a lot of great character work, which wasn't as present in the other episodes, I felt. So this episode mainly had a lot of character work for Mr. Benedict. We got to see his past with his brother, how he felt guilty for leaving him behind in the orphanage. Yeah, and also him feeling guilty about sending the kids into so much danger, but I feel like that was sort of unnecessary. Like he was so easily swayed, but I think it actually fits with his character, especially because he has narcolepsy or something, which makes him overly emotional, so that would probably make him a bit impulsive. So, yeah, I guess it fits with his character a little bit. But I believe in episode 7, he just went back, like, oh no, we have to believe in the kids, so I think that was going a little bit too far. But, yeah, I think this episode was great, especially with seeing and learning more about the emergency, seeing what it's really about. Like we got to see Constance kind of escape out of the school and go out and see all these people buying blue berets, and even she got one. Because as it was revealed in episode 8 in the finale, she's psychic, so she's hearing these subliminal messages as well. I don't really get it that much. I wish they explained that in more detail, but I don't know, maybe in season 2, because there probably will be season 2, because it's based off a series of books, so it has multiple books, obviously, because it's a series of books. So yeah, so then we got episode 7. Thought this was a decent episode. One of the big things that I didn't like about this episode was Sticky kind of coming back to the light side. I kind of wish that they saved that for the finale. That maybe Sticky would have went more to the dark side in this episode, more on Mr. Curtin's side. But then in the finale, it would have been turned back. So yeah, I wish they did that, but I guess it wasn't a huge deal. We got to see a little bit of the sort of friendship that was growing between Kate and Martina, who's the tetherball girl. Yeah. And Martina being you're the first real friend that I ever had, which was nice, but I also think it was unnecessary to the overall story. It was, because in the finale, it was paid off with Martina standing up for Kate, but it didn't really change that much in the story. I think it would have been. I don't think they really needed that. But anyways, it was decent. Yeah, episode 7 was pretty enjoyable. So now we'll talk about the finale. I didn't like this finale much. There was good parts of it. It was enjoyable. Yeah, but there's a lot of flaws. Okay, so first I'm gonna talk about my main flaws, and my main number one flaw was that was the confrontation between Mr. Benedict and Mr. Curtin. I think it ended way too quickly with Mr. Curtin just telling Mr. Benedict a story from their past, but that was all a trick to get Mr. Benedict to pass out, to have a narcoleptic seizure. So yeah, I think it ended too quickly. I wish they talked a little bit more, but they didn't, unfortunately. So yeah. Also, I guess the thing that maybe I didn't like about this episode was there wasn't really like it's not what I liked about the show, which was all the intrigue. This one was kind of just a lot of, I guess, kind of action. Yeah, there was action. It was sort of, overcoming the problem, which I like that part of the episode. With Rainey, making Mr. Curtin feel vulnerable, and that's what made him pass out. And they really stuck to Rainey's character without like trying to make it like a manipulation to try to get Mr. Curtin to pass out. It was just it was to try to change Mr. Curtin's mind about the improvement and all this stuff. So yeah, I really liked that, and I liked that. I liked how they used Constance, making her an important part of the story, and I liked how they like used her psychic abilities. It was clever. Yeah, so she could end the improvement, stop the improvement. But I hope that they kind of go more in depth about her psychic abilities in season 2. There will be one. So yeah, and yeah, overall, I think this show, I really liked it when I was watching it for the first time, with all the intrigue and stuff. I wanted to see where it was going, and I like that they paid off a lot of the stuff that they set up. But I think rewatching it wasn't as good, and it wasn't, and I wish there was a bit more to the finale. Sort of similar to WandaVision, where a lot of people were disappointed by the finale. I personally wasn't that disappointed. I think people had their hopes up too high for the WandaVision finale, but anyways, so one of the big problems also with the show is the characters. I didn't really like the characters, as I said before. They didn't have that many likable qualities, in my opinion. There were some great characters, like Rainey was a great character, Mr. Curtin was a great character, Mr. Benedict, all that. But I think if the characters maybe had like more distinct personalities, I think that would have been cool. I'm not saying that they were like totally similar, because they were very different, but I mean, I don't know. It felt like there was something missing with the characters. I couldn't really connect to them. Maybe because they're just like super smart people, and I'm not super smart. But I don't know. I think they should have had more to the characters so I could feel like I could really connect to them, because I didn't really in the show. So yeah, overall, I guess I give the show maybe a 7 out of 10, maybe an 8. I like the intrigue going through it the first time, but it's probably not as enjoyable rewatching it because you already know what's gonna happen. There's not as much intrigue to it, and most of the moments that I liked about the show was like these big reveals from the intrigue. But then after you watch it again, it's not really big reveals. So I'm gonna put the Mysterious Benedict Society on my rankings of Disney Plus original series. So I'm gonna put the Mysterious Benedict Society pretty low, actually, at number 9 right under High School Musical, the musical series season 2, which might be an unpopular opinion, but I enjoyed High School Musical, the musical series season 2 a lot more than the Mysterious Bending Society, because, as I said before, the characters in the Mysterious Bending Society aren't that interesting and likable. But in High School Musical, the musical series, which I'm just not gonna say the whole title again, but anyways, they have, like, all of the characters are super charismatic, super funny, interesting, and yeah, it was just a super fun time, super enjoyable. And it's not really like that with the series Benedict Society. I liked it um, while it was going, with all the intrigue. But it's definitely not as rewatchable, and it's just not as enjoyable. So yeah, the Mysterious Benedict Society is down at ninth place. That doesn't mean it's bad. It's just there's so many good Disney Plus original series that this one doesn't really compete with them. It's not as enjoyable as them and all that. Yeah. So anyways, that's it for this video. If you liked it, give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I do Disney Plus reaction videos and reviews like this. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.